Yeah, y'all already know what it is. It's the rap mogul, Tef Illuminati, back at y'all with another one. The ugly side always promised to bring you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So next up is worldwide brander and business owner, Elton Benjamin. Yes. Welcome y'all back to another episode of The Ugly Side. Right about now we have entrepreneur, graphic designer, boss. So many words can describe this brother that is for me, it's a joy doing this interview. But I'll let him introduce himself and tell y'all that.
All right, my name is Elton Benjamin. I'm a graphic designer, artist, brander, image consultant, and besides all that, just like to be creative.
All right. Okay. So, we know that you're into graphic design and all type of stuff. But when you was coming up as a youth, who was your biggest influence?
I would have to say my biggest influence growing up would be number one, my parents. My parents were hard workers. Where I was from, North Carolina, everybody worked in tobacco fields, cucumber fields. We lived on a farm. So it was constantly hard work. And so that really started the driving me to always see people working, to always see people doing things, and always seeing the end product of all the work that they was doing. Growing up in school, I would say just different teachers inspired me. Like black male teachers really inspired me because they knew how to handle me, they knew how to speak to me, they knew what I was going through. Another teacher that really saved my life was this art teacher named Miss Moore, because I was already out there. I didn't like bullies. Yeah. So every time I seen a bully, I tried to go test the bully. So I was notorious for doing that. And with my statue being at least 6 to 7 inches shorter than people, so that was the driving side of me. That like, hey, I can conquer anything, and they put that in me from a child. Yeah. So it carried over to a lot of other things. So the teacher that saved my life, she was an art teacher, and her name was Paula Moore, and she told me I could do anything, man. She told me I could do anything. She gave me the science to what my parents had already put in me. She said, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're short. She said, it's going to be awesome. Somebody always want to say something about you. She said, but you keep your focus. Right. And this was coming from a white lady. So she really gave me a push. She really gave me a push.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And that's good to hear, because coming up, people always want to know, like, how did you get into these type of situations? And it's good that you had good people that was there to guide you along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When did you decide, or why did you decide to get into graphic design?
Well, after I left high school, when I was in high school, I took this class. It was printing, and there was a certain amount of people that would be doing the hands-on printing, and a certain amount of people that was doing the graphics and designing. So we started printing things from the school, and I didn't want to always do the printing part. I always want to see how to make it work, how to lay all this stuff out. So every morning, I knew the teacher was going to put us on the printing presses, right? So I started coming in early in the morning before school, going to the dark room, learning how to shoot film, sitting down, learning how to design stuff. and I was still doing painting murals and stuff like that around the city. And so after I got out of high school, I realized the term starving artist was there for a reason.
Yes.
Because you would do all this stuff and people would look at it and say, oh, that's awesome, but they wouldn't know the value of it, so they wouldn't pay for it. So graphic, that led me to a lady named Audrey Hedgepeth. Helped me make one of the best decisions of my life, taking my art, her and Miss Moore, and merging it together and going to a school where I could learn how to, the profit side of being creative. So they helped me with that, and so that's when I really started doing graphics. I started in 3D animation, doing cartoons and special effects, things of that nature. So, that's how I really got started in graphics. I had an art teacher from 8th grade. Her husband had an advertising agency. And she knew of me, so that's how I got hired at my first advertising agency. I'm this young little black kid with all these senior upper level designers. I was pretty much the only black kid in there. Everybody else pretty much had white hair. So I was blessed to be there at that point in time to really learn and to grow and grow and grow. There's a lot of stuff that they didn't know that they learned from me, but it kind of worked hand in hand.
That's amazing, bro. Like, that's amazing. Cause so basically, you pretty much, especially at this time, it was pretty much one of the first like young black execs doing graphics on that level. Back then, as far as I remember.
Yeah, well, there wasn't many.
It wasn't that many, put that way.
Right, and I can count on my hand, and because I went through the industry, you have 4 major print companies that was in the area at the time. You had Walker Ross. You had Lewis Advertising. You had Villette Advertising. You had I forget the other guy's name, but and then you had one black printer, Grecian Enterprises, James Harrington. And he worked with Walker Ross. So he was the biggest black printer on the East Coast. And so I kind of started working with him as far as he teaching me the printing side. But as far as graphic design, the first person I've seen that done something to what I wanted to do, I think I took a trip to New York and I brought back this flyer and I said, I want to design this. I want to start designing these. I started doing my research and see the mass production of printing. So I kind of was like destiny where I met James Harrington. He was the big printer and he started printing all these things for me. And I just, no sleep, my whole 20s just went hard. Growing. No sleep, I'll eat when it gets done.
That's right.
Excuses were for the birds. And so that's how I really became known to people. So.
Okay. So for those who don't know, give people a list of some of your accomplishments, some of the things that you have done that they probably don't even know that you've done. Worldwide. I mean, it could be Mali, it could be England. Just kind of give them a.
Most of my stuff has been behind the scenes.
Projects that you was a part of.
Yeah, projects I was a part of. Like I was a part of the Minority Business Association.
Okay.
Well, in business, they have to give a percentage to minority businesses when they get big contracts.
Okay.
Before they're awarded the contracts, they have to show a list of line items that, okay, I'm getting this contract to do this. So I was a part of a lot of stuff. I worked for the Clinton administration through one of those.
Okay.
I did a little bit of work for the Bush administration, the Sun, and the record, when the record company industry was really pumping during the early 90s and mid 90s. I did so much stuff for record companies, Interscope, Def Jam, The Face, Sony. So many of those places. And then all other subsidiary places up under them. They gave them record deals. And a lot of the people that were around me saw that I had that talent and they wanted that look. So there's a part of, and I say this with most humbly, but if you know of a graphic designer now, if you know somebody's doing video now, and they're a millennial, I have touched something all over that they've seen and said, okay, that's what I want to do.
Exactly, because I want to touch into that. Like, a lot of people don't pay homage to the people that paved the way, the trailblazers, the pioneers. It's not like they want a whole bunch of praise. It's just like, give me a mention.
Right.
Give me a little bit of recognition. Like, hey, I appreciate what you did because you inspired me to go in that direction. I would have never knew how to go in that direction if it wasn't for you.
Right.
And I personally know that you have done a lot of things that open up the doors for in my opinion, for any graphic design artist in North Carolina, they should have high regards for you. You know what I'm saying? It's my personal opinion.
Right, and I appreciate that. But what a lot of people don't realize is if I design a press kit or a video, I did a video, or I design a CD cover for your uncle. Well, when you say you want to get into business, you go to your uncle and say, well, how do I do this? How do I do that? I've now became a part of what you're trying to do.
Exactly.
So there is a lot that, and you have to say it modestly to people because you don't want to sound like you're bragging.
Of course,
but
people say, you're arrogant.
Right, but I'll be called arrogant because I went through the struggles that you don't have to go through.
That's right.
I went into the buildings, the organizations.
That you couldn't get up.
I've been there, scared, shaking, to go in there and face the CEO. Perfect example is I'll go into places and I went into places and asked them for the smallest thing, like to design. Can I design a scratch pad? And I would make sure I design that scratch pad every 3 months until they could give me something bigger. And so when I built that trust and relationship, then they can trust me.
That's a good thing.
And see, but what I just said is relationship. You got to build relationships with people. And understand that I'm here now and I'm doing this now and I might not need this advice from this person now, but down the line I'm going to need the advice from that person because the person has been through way more than what I have.
Absolutely.
That person has taken so much, and people don't. Today's generation, and I don't like to say today's generation because everybody go through something.
Yeah, everybody.
But it's hard for them to understand of paying homage. It gets kicked over to this old head, or you trying to hate on me, or you just trying to stop me back. No, I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to give you a covering. Right. And help you, guide you, so you don't run into brick walls. Because the experience, people say experience is the best teacher, but it was the best teacher for me. But it don't have to be for you.
Exactly.
You know.
All you gotta do is listen.
Yeah, you gotta listen. Like, now I can only speak from where I came from, so I'm gonna kind of give it to you, the game, how it relates to where I had to come from. So after I left high school and I went and I was working a corporate job. Our teacher got me this job with her husband, working an advertising job. Well, I not only saw that I could capitalize doing the corporate work, but I knew it was entertainment work I could do. And I knew everybody in the neighborhood, most time then, people spent time in the studios or at the gym playing ball. And it was either or when you leave here, that's where we going.
Absolutely.
Okay, so after I saw that, I started figuring out who these people was that was owning the studios. From you, keep reference from C-Dub, to even Manny, to whoever had, to Ralph, whoever had studios. And those, you know, some of the trailblazers. But I wanted to find out and get in that circle, so all of us was friends for a long time, but, you know, and I started doing CD covers and all that stuff for those kind of people, right? And who was funding them was most of the drug dealers, a lot, not the studios, but some of the artists.
Exactly.
And so that's how most of these people blew up, local record companies and stuff. So I was a dude. I remember one time this guy told me, this drug dealer guy told me, he's like, man, I like to see you coming. He said, but I hate to see you coming. I know you coming, you're going to give me something hot, but I'm going to have to pay the bill for it.
Right.
He said, I look at you like a bill.
You want that look.
But he then put something in my head that he understood the value of what I was bringing to the table.
That's right.
And so being in those situations, being around those people, what came with that territory came with that territory. And when I tell you, man, I've been in a room full of money. Room smell terrible because it's just money, stacks of money everywhere. And so don't think that you see me here now, I won't down here.
Exactly.
I remember we pulled up at a house. Friend was going to talk to a dude. He went in and talked to the dude. They was in there, and then another car came up. Seen some other dudes come up to the house, and all of them ran in the house. We sitting in the car, and one of the friends with me is like, "Oh man, I gotta go get a gun." And so he jumped out of the car and ran to go get a gun. So me, I run up to the door. You know what I'm saying? They was getting ready to do him in, so I had to be the road. So I had my little hoodie on, went to the door, had my hoodie on. Yo, what's going on, man? Tell me what's going on. They had the things at him. 3 of them. He had them ran up in the guy's house. He ran up in some girl's house and talking to her sister, but it was a rumor that the girl was seeing somebody else and they thought he was the dude. So they got burners on him, and you know, only because I came to the door and they asked him, they was like, "Who was that?" And he told them I was, that they let the things down, and that was it. So it's a big misunderstanding. But so don't think because you right here right now, you can't grow here. You just gotta be smart enough to say, okay, I want to be a part of this life.
I don't. Exactly. And
so I gotta find other tunnels to grow.
Exactly.
So you can make a choice to say, oh well, this is what my environment has to offer me. Or you can say, let me see what my talent and character can take me to still do what I want to do and make a profit from it. Exactly. Because eventually you're gonna get caught in that situation.
Yes, sir.
So
so we know that you went through all that and what led you to where you at now. Mm-hmm. What is your business model nowadays?
I find business people, and I find them the way, and I sit down and have briefs with them, and I do research with them and for them to figure out what their business needs to look like.
Okay.
If they're in this industry, what does your demographic need to look like for you to profit off your business? Because right now, in the time that we're in, people are starting businesses like nothing now. Yeah. And so instead of, I've seen a lot of businesses come and go. Yeah. So I'm fortunate to see what works and what don't work. Because I've seen people put a lot of money at something and it don't last 6 months. But I've also seen a guy put $100 and some dollars to a label design, and now he's the biggest black guy on the East Coast for doing a hair replacement glue. And I started that for him, gave him the right image. So my business model now is pretty much telling people stories visually. That's my living. I'm a visual storyteller and a product producer. So if I believe it, and I don't just take on anybody. Why you said take on everybody now? A long time ago, I don't take on everybody. Now I gotta see if you're the right fit for me.
right.
I gotta understand if you're business. I gotta understand if you're talking. You understand that our project lasts weeks and months instead of 2 days.
Just 2 days.
Because you're a fly by night.
Exactly.
And your mentality, you ain't gonna understand. You're not gonna understand the mentality of what it takes. You're not gonna understand the value of research. You're not gonna understand of
analytics.
Yeah, you're not gonna understand analytics. You're not gonna understand any of those things
Build up
that people pay other people every day of the week, all year, to do those things.
Yes.
So if they pay for it and they got a lot of money, then you gotta know that you gotta invest something into getting where you want to get instead of just an emotion.
Yes.
You know.
So
That's my business model right now. I'm looking to help the upcoming designer, to help the upcoming videographer to say, okay, this is what I have you can do, this is what I have you can do. You can build your portfolio, and along all those lines, you're getting more knowledge that I've taken years to acquire.
So 20 years of knowledge, you get 20 years of knowledge to them.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, why not? It's like when I'm putting you ahead 20 years.
Right. And see, what people don't realize is what people don't realize is, like, I know I've been doing this so long that in 5 minutes I can tell you whether your thing is gonna work or not.
Exactly.
I can tell by your tone of your voice. I can tell by the look in your eye. I can tell by your breathing whether it's gonna work or not.
People don't know that. People don't know
And
that.
that's a study. That's a studied science and knowledge.
Yes, it's experience, and also experience. Constant seeing it, trial and error.
Right.
Trial and error. You can only get that from trial and error, from actually going through it, actually taking your time to study and see how things go. So,
and that's on that information is on the customer coming to me, but also on the designer end. If you're coming up, I know what you're doing. I know why you're doing what you're doing. I know why you're succeeding. I know why you're not succeeding. Because if I use you and you give me these excuses, oh, I'm asleep, oh, the lights went out, all of this right here, believe me, I used that on my first year that you're telling me now. You understand me?
And
So all you're giving me is excuses. Because if you want something, you're going to go get it. You're going to make a way to go get it.
That's right. Point blank, period.
That's just it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, okay, definitely, man. So what, you have anything in the future that you want to talk about? I know you got a lot of projects in the works, but
I have a lot of different initiatives that I wanted to do now. And one is to pretty much, like I said, mentoring and teaching. My big thing now, my number one initiative now is getting people to understand talent means nothing. Talent is become the worst drug.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound so deep, but our civilization right now, we'll tell somebody, okay, you have the talent to do this, but we won't tell them you got to have a character to do this.
And
So you telling me, oh man, I ain't ate nothing, I'm gonna do it after I eat.
we ate all day.
You're blessed to be in the presence or along a line of relationship with somebody that knows way more knowledge than you, that you're trying to get to a place to say that you want to get to. And food is the only thing on your mind. I'll eat after I learn this to keep me eating. Teach them to fish. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, and with a lot of people, I've seen people go in big record companies, boardrooms, and they're here and they need to get here. And the only thing from here to here with them is having enough character to know how to say thank you, or know how to fall back and not open your mouth when it's not time to open your mouth. And their character has put them in a place, their talent has put them in a place that their character ain't ready for.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's gonna be my initiative for the next couple of years of teaching people how to go beyond that. how to go beyond your talent. Because if you get so used to, like me, I was used to people stroking my ego so much that I got to a point, this is my early 20s, that I got to a point when people didn't stroke my ego, I felt bad. Wanted to, you feel depressed or something, like I do something wrong,
I come down from that high.
But I had to do something that artists rarely do. And you can take this over to any other level, any other situation, but scenario. But I had to learn how to balance being an artist and business.
That's right. Yep.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's artist and emotion wins over more than business.
Exactly.
But if business wins over, you know how to have delayed gratification. Where you can say, I'm going to do this now, do this now. I know it's in the future, but, and one important word that people don't tell people nowadays, the most important word that they don't tell people when they tell them, you can be this, you can sing, you can die, you can play ball. They don't say the word years. So what they don't tell people when they tell them that their talent is so awesome, they don't say the word years.
It takes years.
It takes years.
That's the reality of this. It takes years.
I don't care what you see now, what you think is hot. The hottest social media thing that you heard about, people worked on it for years. They worked on it for years because even when they got to that point where it popped, somebody bought them. But the only way they bought them was because they built their way up with all these years. And now they can brand it and market it the way it needs to be marketed. Somebody done did all the work. All they gotta do is fine tune it and make it look pretty. So they don't tell them about time, man. How it's gonna take time to do what you need to do.
It takes time. Yeah. I'm glad you touched on that because I run into personally, bro. I run into a lot of artists myself that's like, oh, Jim, I want to blow. I want now. I want, you know what I'm saying? I'm dope, man. You know, my music's the hottest ever. It's this. And I'll be like, bro, it is a billion people saying the same thing you're saying. Mm-hmm. What's going to separate you from them?
That's right.
If they're using the same social media outlets that you're using.
Everybody got the same tune.
Everybody got the same tune. Everybody pretty much got the same vibe or swag or drip, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Okay? How are you going to separate yourself from amongst that crowd? I said the minute that you realize it and figure that out, is when you're going to win.
Yeah. And whenever you decide that you are willing to do whatever it takes, that's when you can start winning. Because when you talk about you hungry, you need to eat, and you sleepy, that next person is grinding.
They understand when we go days without eating. People don't realize that. Like I haven't ate today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You haven't ate. It's like, okay, we're not thinking about the food. We thinking about winning. We thinking about getting to the bag. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I eat once a day.
Fun.
Not
you
healthy,
know what?
But
fun, entertainment needs to be a luxury to you.
A luxury.
You gotta earn that.
You gotta earn it.
And these people that have these Friday mentalities, I can't wait till Friday. No, why can't you wait till Friday? No. If anything, you learn how to wait till Sunday afternoon, or you learn how to wait till Monday. That's when you can do that's when everybody else is out your lane. Because in the weekend, everybody's in your lane, and they're in your brain. So and you're not making no money off of it, you're not benefiting off of it in any way. And you get so hard to get it to the people, to get that mindset to the people. Like this guy told me, he's like African American kids a lot of them don't have a bank account when they're 16, and they also taught live for the weekend. So when the guy told me, he said, don't cash. James Harden told me, when you get a check, don't cash it on Friday. Wait till Monday to cash it. And when you wait till Monday, you see how much money you save and how much money somebody else wasted. $60 shoes, $100 outfit, haircut, and then when you get to the club, you spend all this money, and you spend all this money on the weekend for what? $300 weekend for what?
For what?
To impress somebody that's not gonna benefit you at all.
Probably don't even like you.
Don't even like you.
Never cared about you.
And then if they did like you, don't like you now.
Definitely don't like you now because you dripping.
Right.
So it don't even make sense even do it, period.
Right. So I'll just tell people, man, just to be careful, man. Not get so the need to have your ego stroked, because that's control. When you need affirmation from people, that controls you. And that's why the people that are forward thinkers, that's why they get called arrogant a lot and cocky a lot. I get called it. But when I'm down and you finish stroking my ego and you don't feel like stroking it no more, what am I going to do? I can't come knock on your door and say stroke my ego.
Stroke my ego no more.
Right. I got to be able to tell myself, no, you do this.
Exactly.
You've been through it. You know the knowledge.
Exactly. You
hurt now, but you just need to get 20, 30 minutes into it. And then it starts coming. So, be your own person. I'll tell people, be your own person. You always, my mom told me, man, you all you got, but you always gonna need somebody else.
Exactly. Nobody can make it anywhere in this world but simply by themselves. And how I look at it, you shouldn't want to. Only a crazy person would want to really do everything.
Not a crazy person. A person that knows the business and been in business knows that they don't want to do everything.
They don't want to do it by themselves.
They don't want to do everything.
No.
But a person in business also knows. If you're gonna if I'm gonna give you something, I expect you to do it. I expect you to do it.
That's right.
Cause it's gonna sound hard. If you tell somebody you're gonna have something on August the 19th, corporate don't care if your mama died.
Exactly.
They want it on August 19th.
But if I say that, Jeff, you're inconsiderate. You don't care about a person, what they going through. Listen, I tell them like this. Look, CVS don't stop because something happened with your people.
That's right.
Walmart don't shut down because something happened. Who's gonna work in Walmart?
Right. And see, being that I'm not on the level that you think, a big company, you feel like I can't say that to you or emphasize that to you. But you got to understand, this is business, this is a product. You know, if we want to be emotional, then we'll go in an emotional setting. But at the same time, realize what we're doing.
Yes.
Because ain't nobody going to give you that break. The only people that give you breaks that care about your emotions.
Exactly.
And people don't care about your emotions because of your business.
You
go into a car dealership and that man need to close his ranking or whatever he need to do, and he got to give you a 30% rate on the car, and you're gonna be paying for the rest of your life. He gonna give you that 30% rate, and he gonna make you feel like that's the best decision in the world.
Exactly.
Well, he's gonna take you years to get out of that situation.
Years to get out of that situation.
And you ain't got the drive to say, okay, well, I'm gonna take this amount of money, it's a couple $1,000s a month, or work on this extra job to knock down that principal, so I can get out of this early. You already shown you ain't got that.
You already shown me you got it.
So, there's so much I can say, man. I probably put it in the book or something.
Oh yeah.
But there's so much I can say because people think they see you up here and they don't realize it. And people say that cliche all the time. You just don't know. But I mean, going from 8 people in the house, not in the house, 8 people in one room with cousins and stuff, all y'all sleeping in bed, sleeping on the floor, and you live on a farm, you didn't have a public, running water, you had your outhouse, and you come on like that, and when people say to me, I'm from the projects, I laugh and say, you were so blessed.
You were so blessed.
Because you had running water, even if the water was off sometimes.
Exactly.
You had running water, you had to go to no well. You didn't have to go feed no pigs. You didn't have to go work in no fields.
Exactly.
And so, and I have to tell a lot of people that now, men that do a lot of manual labor, they try to look down on you and say, okay, well, you sit at that, she'll do that, Okay, bro, I don't work this right here. When I was a kid, in the middle of a field in the sun, you can't move. The sun right here.
Sun right there, it ain't going nowhere.
But you got to keep on picking cucumbers or tobacco because that's what it is.
You got to feed your family. You got to feed your family.
So, we got to be careful, man, how we try to look down on people and not think that they come from somewhere else. And you come from dirt roads and all that stuff like that. And you just make it. I made a decision that I would not go back to that if I didn't make the decision to myself.
Exactly.
But the guy also let me know, hey, don't get crazy over here. Don't jump off no bridge because this and this ain't work out. You come from the dirt.
You come from the dirt, so you can handle this.
Right. So if I have to go all the way back,
okay, it's no problem.
You know what I'm saying?
No problem.
Bam, bam. I don't know how to
Okay, it's nothing. I start right back up and keep it moving and be right back out again.
Yeah, I done ate from the earth. Exactly. I done cooked on the heater. You know what I'm saying?
On the grill.
That's what it is, man. I just
Definitely.
I'm in a peaceful place right now. I look for peace now.
I see it, bro.
Peace over paper.
Exactly. Peace.
I call
peace
it
of mind.
so nobody steal it.
Exactly. Peace over paper.
Peace over paper.
And I, I'm a true believer in that because I live by that. Like I tell people now, a peace of mind is worth more than any dollar amount. A peace of mind.
Yeah.
Just to know, like, okay, I'm good. I don't have to worry about stuff. Just that peace alone.
Yeah, my children good.
Man, I'm straight. Thank you, God. I'm still breathing. I'm healthy. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, got tubes up my butt coming out. You know, I'm happy. We done seen so many.
People complain about the little bitty stuff, man. When you like,
man.
When you went out and made stuff happen, you like, yo, you got all of this. You got all of this. And you talking about, you know, it was a point in time when people were ashamed to have food stamps.
Yeah.
They were ashamed to have food stamps, but now people be like, man, I want to qualify for some food stamps.
I want to qualify for some
You know what I'm saying? Go on. And the flip side of that, that's cool.
It's cool, but
if you want to have food stamps, but it's two sections of that. You get $800, $900 food stamps, so what are you complaining about?
What are you complaining about? Why are you still complaining?
Right. On the other side of that, I don't want to be in a position where I have to depend on food stamps.
And if it don't come through, then what? Remember when Trump turned off when the government, I ain't gonna say Trump either, but the government shut down.
Right.
The government shut down. Okay, everybody's money stopped.
Your money stopped if you was a 9 to 5. Your money ain't stopped if you was a hustler.
Exactly.
If you was a hustler.
It didn't affect us. It didn't affect us.
I can't get into the Trump conversation.
Yeah.
I can't get into the Trump conversation of controlling this and that because I've had to rely on God too much.
Exactly.
For me to give that man.
Exactly. No, I ain't giving him that kind of credit.
And if you really know, he's just a pawn, man.
Yeah, he's just a pawn.
He's just a pawn, and he's a distraction to take your mind off what's really going on.
What's really going on?
Because Trump thinks just like the person if you work at some place, bank or the guy at the very top think
just like Trump. Think just like him, believe it.
And if you can't control your own money, all your life is at the verge of the bottom line.
That's right.
A good day and a bad day.
Exactly.
And if you think they want anything else other than that for you,
exactly.
you live in a dream. You live in a lie.
Exactly.
You better learn how to control your own money, because if you can't control your own money, somebody else can control your world.
And look, and I tell people this, right, when it comes to the whole Trump thing, it's an ideology. It's a way of thinking.
Yeah.
Trump is a self-made, regardless of his parents did give him some money, but the rest of his money was made off of him grinding.
And it don't matter about his.
Okay.
You don't care about his moral. Everybody look up to Puff Daddy.
Exactly.
Right? Everybody look at Puff Daddy. Puff Daddy ain't get married one time.
He didn't get married one time.
But you talking about somebody that's moral stability. I don't care if the dude. I don't care how he.
For everybody listening to this right now, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a grinder, if you're a person that's really trying to build and have your own thing, you should love Trump.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because he just cut your taxes. He just dropped your taxes. Okay? He just made it easier for you, if you're a business owner, to thrive.
And
the only people who have a problem with Trump are the people that work for somebody else.
And that's a good point.
I mean, I'm keeping it funky. Like, that's how I looked at it. Like, the only people who have a problem with him is people that work for somebody else. Because the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the bosses, the hustlers,
just like him.
They just like him.
Just like him.
Just like him.
And see, we want to get caught up in, let me tell you something, man. I made the best money in my life when George Bush was the president.
Exactly.
Man, so many black folks came up.
Exactly.
Then they got Wolves Back to Sleep with the Clintons and Barack Obama.
Exactly.
You know, Barack Obama, first black president, cool. Hey,
great.
Proud of him.
Hey, great.
So whatever.
Okay.
But we got Wolves to sleep and depending on the government so much that it's just like, I don't understand like how you let somebody have that much control over you, how you be up under somebody so much that they say, you know, if this happens, then your life will go away. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, don't be so hard on what's science and what's logistically working.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's it, man. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, definitely, man. Hey, thank you for allowing me to come through and sit down with you, brother. I really feel like this is going to be very informative because I want to really show the youth us that's successful.
Yeah.
They don't see enough of us that's not famous, that's successful, and has been through it. And I feel like along with you brothers like you, and I hope that you will help me be a mentor with some of the kids and stuff that we got coming. You know, that we're going to be bringing stuff along in the future. But I definitely thank you for sitting down with us. You want to leave everybody your social media?
Yeah, so my social media is Elton Benjamin, everything. It's Elton Benjamin, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Learn how to get off of those things. Learn how not to be dependent on social media.
Preach.
The way you really build relationships is face to face and having conversations with people. Learn how to operate because one day, believe it or not, it's gonna be gone.
It's gonna be gone.
They just made Facebook pay $500 million fine for something, and Facebook was created by a human being that has motives. That if you don't like their message, they'll cut you off. So understand when somebody else controls your hustle, controls your streams of income, then they control you. So, but that's what that is, and I just appreciate you again for what you've done, man. I appreciate all the years that you have put in the game.
Thank you.
I hope you continue to give people your knowledge.
Yes, that's my
Because
plan.
one vehicle may not be a way to get something somewhere, but another may be. I hope this is that for you. You have an immense amount of knowledge, crazy knowledge, but I've been years waiting for something like this for you to be able to share it to people.
Yes.
Because you can't. They got different deals of how you get deals now, but they don't have different principles and character.
Exactly.
And this only can be taught. So that's me. I'm Elton Benjamin. I'm the best eye in the game. Don't let nobody tell you different.
That's right.
If you get somebody else to do it, you come back to me when you want to win.
Exactly.
Build relationships. Have integrity. Integrity hurts sometimes. You got to bow your head sometimes.
That's right.
Have integrity. Know when to fight battles. Know when to step up. Know when to step down. There will be those days. Thank y'all so very much.
All right.